Because I am Gen Z, addicted to my phone.
Hmm.
My generation doesn't know how to be bored anymore.
My birthday feels different now. There's a clear distinction between people who celebrate me before and after I post about it. If you're not posting, you don't exist. Do you feel unseen if the internet doesn't see you?
Yes. I will expand.
How do you feel about AI being a part of our future?
I use ChatGPT to write my grocery list. Like, you cannot write your own grocery list.
I like to use AI for maybe like analyzing and like it'll miss a whole part and then I'll
Yeah.
ask it like, why did you miss this part? And it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I missed that. You're like, what is the point of you? Like,
How do you guys feel about ChatGPT and it being used for therapy?
Get rid of alcohol. You don't get rid of drugs, but you find a way to fit it into the world in a more appropriate, restrained way.
This is Project 6+1. This season, we'll be discussing the future of human connection. Today's topic is the cost of being online. You wake up tomorrow and the internet no longer exists. No Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, no updating your Instagram stories. Your photos and videos are completely gone. Who are you now? Charlotte, I'd like to start with you.
Definitely more sane, I would say, because I am Gen Z, addicted to my phone. So I'm definitely pretty sure that I would be a lot more creative because I feel like my generation doesn't know how to be bored anymore, and boredom really moves creativity forward. So I would definitely be bored and probably more productive for sure, even though I do love the online culture. Yeah.
Okay. And Chizzy, what about you?
why you gotta come to me? Okay, if I didn't have social media, I mean, I would definitely be bored as well. I would be very bored. But I think my nervous system would be regulated. I think I'd be more calm. I'd have more time and space to think. Probably would be more clear on my ideas and just things that I feel like I want to do. Because I think social media can be really distracting sometimes, even though like I'm a content creator full time, like it's what I do. But I also know, the cons of just being chronically online. So I think it would honestly make me more clear-minded.
I think I like to think of myself as grounded, but I would slowly, meaning like go from being really, really okay about the fact that I don't have to be like an online version of myself, but I would just crash out and then re-regulate myself. But yeah, I would miss it for sure.
Me too.
More
Yeah.
than I think I will. Yeah.
I think we'd adapt though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would.
I had social media in 7th grade, so
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So elementary school.
you didn't have life before social media.
No.
Yeah.
Like
She's Gen
growing
Z,
up.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, I'm the oldest of Gen Z.
okay.
Yeah, my first social media page was in 7th grade, Facebook.
Oh Lord.
Ooh. So I guess I don't have life before that.
Yeah. I still have memories of being like a fully sentient being before social media. So maybe I have like a baseline for that. Yeah.
So
Wow.
would you classify yourself as a millennial then?
Oh, it's not even a classification. I'm fully.
So you
A
saw the
millennial.
birth of the internet and,
Yes.
and everything,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
were at the already at the
The
birth of it.
start.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
at the start.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, so what year are you? What year were you born?
97, so the oldest of Gen
Okay.
Z.
See,
I think
Actually,
that's
you
how
would be
they...
a
I'm
Zillennial.
97 too,
Zillennial.
and I never say I'm Gen Z.
Yeah.
I
You're in the middle. You're in the cusp.
Yeah.
That's
but
literally
I
the cusp.
identify more with millennial because I remember how
both.
everything started.
Do you have
Yeah.
older
And I do-
siblings?
Yeah.
I'm the eldest.
Oh, okay.
So, but I do
Yeah.
remember what my life was like before social media and
I do
how
not.
at one point it overpowered a lot of my life. And then a few years ago when I decided to take a step back and limit, because it can definitely be distracting.
Yeah.
Even when I'm working, I just grab my phone, and it's automatic. I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
But I think we do lose some sense of reality sometimes when we start comparing, when we start envisioning a different life for ourselves that maybe is very unattainable because of that. So
I do agree with what you said though about like us finding the realest version of yourself. Maybe I'm putting words into your mouth, but that's kind of what you said. Yeah, because like boredom won't be my issue because all the things that keep me entertained are not things that are on social media anyway.
Wait, like
That's
what?
true.
TV.
Volleyball.
Okay. Well,
Is
no.
TV a part of social media?
No. So I'm saying
It's
like
a media,
yeah,
but I wouldn't classify
it's not
as
like
social media.
What
Okay.
is?
TV.
Oh,
Right, like
yeah.
films, movies, books. Those
Oh,
are
you're
things that
so
like
right.
yeah. So as long as like if I woke up and found out that those were gone, I think I would have a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, movies gone, big problem.
Yeah,
True.
yeah, big problem.
That
Yeah,
would be
but
very
social
sad.
media, it's more, and because of how I like to engage with other forms of media, I usually have to stay away from social media because how much it influences your initial feeling about the thing that you're consuming outside of it anyway. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Follow Project 6+1 on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where you can comment and share your thoughts on future episodes. My birthday feels different now. There's a clear distinction between people who celebrate me before and after I post about it. If you're not posting, you don't exist. Do you feel unseen if the internet doesn't see you?
Yes. I will expand.
Please do.
You're unseen.
No,
Yeah.
so because I'm a content creator, right? Like, I'm definitely, I can see how people treat me differently based off of either one, them knowing, like, or seeing my platform versus not seeing my platform, but also just like with regular friends, I do find that like if I post on my stories or something, then maybe they'll hit me up about something because it's like they saw me, right? So it reminded them of me. And it's like, I don't take it personally because I understand like sometimes like things can be very out of sight, out of mind. I just find it interesting sometimes that I'm like, you only remembered me because I posted on my stories. That's kind of crazy.
I am in the entertainment industry, so if I book a job, nobody's gonna know I did that unless I post it or unless they see me like doing it and watching whatever I'm doing. So in that aspect, yes. But then in another way, no, because I feel like I don't need that
Yeah.
to feel seen,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Joa, what about you?
I don't post on my birthday, and I still exist. I could see why people feel that way, but I don't really post anything. And I would say, you know, the people who still really matter in your life are going to make you feel seen
Yeah.
and appreciated anyways.
Absolutely.
All the rest is just kind of, that's like extra, you know, goodwill and good wishes. And it still means something, but it's definitely not as meaningful as, you know, the text from your uncle or aunt just saying happy birthday.
Yeah.
Or just someone remembering the date on the run. So it's not that it's meaningless. It's not that it doesn't make you feel seen, but it's not, no one's seeing you in the way that really benefits you, I don't think.
I think it is like a degree of separation issue, kind of. There are some people who, if they don't reach out to me on my birthday, it definitely will become a thing, and I will make it into a thing with the person and ask. But then there are other people who like if we only interact on social media and they only reach out after like they see on someone's post, there's no like offense to it because I've been on the other end of it where like there are some people who like I care enough about them to the point where like if I see that it's their birthday, I will like text or DM and say happy birthday. But if I don't know you well enough, then I would assume it's not an issue because I wouldn't think it's, you know, there's some people who just don't know you that well. If your birthday is not top of mind for them, it's not top of mind for them. That's not a...
It's like the same level as like a coworker saying happy birthday.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
But like doesn't mean anything. Doesn't make my
No.
birthday.
I mean, I might, if the person viewed the story, saw it was my birthday, and then didn't wish me a happy birthday, maybe that would be...
You see, I
An
actually
issue?
wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
Because I hate when I end up on someone's story and it's their birthday, because now I feel obligated to tell you happy birthday.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes I don't want to say happy. It's not even that it's not that I don't like you or that I don't wish you well. I just sometimes I'm scrolling on my stories and I'm not looking to respond.
Yeah.
So I try to click out and I find it very awkward. And I always wonder, like, will people feel away if they see that I saw
Yeah,
this thing?
I wouldn't feel away, but
You
I-
just said
I
you
guess,
feel
like,
away though.
No. I'm saying like I understand why, like,
Yeah.
if if like for the person who
Okay,
asked
yes.
the question, like,
Yes.
I understand why like that would be an issue for them, because then it would. I mean, I hear it all the time. There's some people who are like, I'm not going to post. I've heard someone say, I'm not going to post that it's my birthday today because I want to see who will
Who's actually
remember. And I'm
gonna
like,
remember?
that's a little insane.
It is.
Yeah, to not post because you're entrapping people basically, and waiting to see who. I'm like, there's some people who like, I'm grateful that Facebook reminds me it's your birthday, because otherwise
I love Facebook for that.
I wouldn't have remembered.
wouldn't have
That's
Facebook
just
for that.
Do you remember when you used to get like a 12 a.m. text on your birthday from like your bestie?
I still
Actually
do.
I still do.
That's amazing.
And I do that.
Yeah.
I'm
For
never
some
awake
people.
for that, so I don't.
Throughout history, people have always told stories through books, movies, art. Now, anyone with a camera is sharing theirs, but is it authentic or just performance?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Chizzy, what does it mean to be authentic online?
I think to be authentic online is just to like show up as you are. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like overshare or share everything about you in the moment that it's happening. But I feel like, it's sharing your real story, whatever that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Vara, do you trust people who share everything online, or is that another form of performance?
I think it depends. I've seen it happen where someone starts posting authentically, like their day-to-day lives, and then once they hit a certain margin, it becomes performative. So sometimes it's really hard to gauge or tell when something's authentic versus not. Because I've seen it happen, and I was talking about it the other day because some guy was going viral because he became viral by documenting his 9 to 5.
I know what you're talking about.
It's like, yeah. And then I heard rumors that he was making so much content that he started making money off of it. He didn't need to work the 9 to 5, but he still pretended to work.
Diabolical.
And people found out. And I think he even rented an office space to keep pretending
OMG.
that he was in the 9 to 5. And then people found out and they're like, what are you doing?
Diabolical.
But people would then get mad at him if he quit his job and was no longer making the content that was relatable
It's like
to people.
yeah,
That's
it's
so
really
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Because in
funny.
what content?
He's a smart man.
Dang.
Yeah,
It's such a
and then it's
fine
also
line.
like, for example, with a lot of couples, like, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's the traditional trajectory of like you're a boyfriend, girlfriend, or together, and then the next step is proposal, and then you get married, and then you start having kids. But a lot of these couples that started gaining influence and followers, they start having kids every year, like clockwork. Because they keep gaining more and more. And it's like, how authentic is it that you keep having kids back to back? Like, it makes me wonder. Because it's not just one couple. Like, this year, at least 4.
Really? So you think they're having kids
To be
Because they're making
performative.
money.
I don't want to
for
think.
the content?
Well, I mean, there are people that are definitely.
I think that there are people
do,
that
yeah.
definitely
like
are.
13 kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Smash that like button.
Like, how,
for more children.
And we'll smash more
I mean,
children.
it's just like all of them are on the same time every year, and they keep having kids back to back.
Yeah,
And you see the trajectory of when they started and how they, in the proposal, oh my God, more followers because it's like majestic, and then wedding planning, and then there's a wedding content, and then oh my God, I'm pregnant. It's like first time mother, etc. And then it's like, oh my gosh, the baby's here, and everybody loves babies. So like they gain a huge wave of following from that, and then they continuously, like what's the chances? What are the chances that like 5 couples have followed this very similar trajectory?
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder. I don't want to accuse, of course, because I don't know, but it's just curious, the
Yeah.
timing of it all. And that's what makes me wonder, like, how performative is it?
Yeah.
I do think like you can like without even realizing subconsciously, you kind of can end up like doing things for social media. It's kind of like the concept of doing things for the plot, right?
Yes.
So it's like, because I know I've done it in my life,
Yeah.
where it's just like, I know that it will maybe make a vlog more interesting. So I'm like, oh, well, let's go to that thing that I don't know if I would have done it if I wasn't like vlogging or it gonna be online.
Yeah.
But I feel like to your point, like what's the fine line of like doing things for social media? You know what I mean? Where it's to the point where now you're having more kids because it adds to all the things.
Having a
Like,
baby
that's
for
kinda
the plot
crazy.
though is
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Even outside of the children, like couples maybe sometimes stay together because they know like it looks better for us to stay together. And
Yeah.
it's like, are you really about to like basically halt your life in this way, right? And stay with this person just because of this channel or platform that you guys have built. It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, those are like obviously like extreme cases, but like on a regular baseline, I don't even know that I believe that it's one or the other. I've always thought that performance has existed before social media. I think like social media has elevated the performance, but like even for those of us that have, I guess what people call like real jobs that have nothing to do with being in front of any kind of audience, we're performing all day.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. People
Okay. That
is
perform.
true.
Yeah,
I was about
so
to say
I think
that.
like social media has elevated
Yeah.
the levels to which we perform. And like you talked about vlogs, for example, it's like a what's that saying? Chicken and egg situation where I'm
Yeah.
like, vlogs have definitely helped me be more open in exploring my own life, right? So it's like it makes it, you're more conscious of how like you schedule your time and the quote unquote exciting things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Just because I guess like there's an audience watching, but I don't know. I think it's more who's in the director's seat versus like the actor, which like, I mean, you're both, but as long as you're the one directing
Whoa.
the performance, I think you're being authentic to a
Authentic.
certain point. So it's not like a,
I like
a
how
great
you think.
Whoa.
That was a
She
great
brings
point.
things
Yeah.
together.
That was
Thank
poetry,
you.
friend. That was poetry, friend.
thank you.
Wait,
But
yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, that's how I like to think about it. I don't think anyone is like if you want to be 100% yourself every day, yourself, in order for you to survive, yourself has to be, you can't be
You gotta put on some sort
like,
of
yeah,
mask.
like fully transparent in that way to everyone. So you do have to,
Performance.
yeah,
Yeah.
You have to
exactly.
be strategic and think about what am I sharing and putting out online.
Yes.
So it's not like, I'm putting on the performance and therefore it's bad. It's,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, like to what
Life
extent are
low-key
you
is a performance.
Yeah.
It absolutely
I think it is
is.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that you brought that up because it also just made me think about how we as Black people or people of color have to code switch,
Exactly.
even in the workplace, even in regular spaces, even
yeah.
being in public
Yeah.
on
You go to the airport,
subway
everyone in the
and-
TSA line is on their best. That is like,
yeah.
sorry. I
And
just feel
that
like,
could be
yeah.
a form of, being
Yeah.
performative,
Or
but
your best
yeah,
behavior.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So
I was just wondering if you still apply the same to whether something's performative or not, like when someone's having a breakdown or they broke up with someone and they're like crying on camera and then, like they have to set it up and then they have to like edit it and then they post it with the caption and then, like, do you still feel the same when it's a content like that?
I do, but there are some parts of it that you just won't know because you're the viewer. So, I mean, I guess it depends on how much thought you put into whether or not the person is performing. If the person hits record and starts talking and then starts crying, I won't like immediately assume that they were like preparing to cry. But if it's, and that is if it's a like free flowing video. I'm talking about like my own personal train of thought now. Now, if the video is cut in multiple places and then the crying is still in, so I'm wondering like, are you
Yeah.
pausing the cry?
Yes,
but
yeah.
yeah.
So
But
do you
like,
feel like that's more performative when it's like that?
I think it is, but I don't think because in the context of what we're talking about, like performative is like derogatory, but I just don't think it's like it's performing. Therefore, it is fully inauthentic, right? Because a person can hit like record on the camera knowing that they're about to do something that will make them emotional. So if they start responding emotionally, I don't think it means that they're, but then I also like content creation is not something that is so like off. I don't know, some people think of it as like this like kind of otherworldly thing where you have to like become an entirely different person, but like there are different facets to how a person appears even when the camera is rolling. That doesn't necessarily deem them inauthentic. So, yeah.
Charlotte, what was it that you said earlier?
Oh God. It was off topic.
She said she doesn't code switch, but
I
then her
know.
mom is white. Which makes
Yeah, like
some
I
kind
don't
of
code
sense.
switch
Yeah,
around
yeah.
based on different races.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the only other
Yeah.
thing. But about the authenticity, I think there's actually a way to mix authenticity and performance. Like I can online, but maybe it's because of my acting background and performance background. I know how to do that. But I think there's a way to package how you want to be perceived, but it's still yourself. So I think that's what a lot of people do. Also in daily life, like literally everyone is putting on a mask every single day about what you were saying. But yeah, the code switching, I don't really.
Are you biracial?
I am biracial, black and white.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a very interesting dynamic in the United States of America.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wait, so when you say you don't code switch, like what does that mean?
Like I don't act different based on the people that I'm surrounded. Obviously, because I need to get the true definition of code switching. But like obviously you speak different. Like in terms of if I'm in a rehearsal space based on who I speak to, if I'm with my mom, if I'm based on my friends. But like with like cops or something, I'm the same. When I'm with my black family, I'm the same. When I'm with my white family, I'm the same. I just have never thought of that. Maybe because my mom walks in the world just like a white woman like this. I just see her.
Yeah.
So you
Isn't that interesting? So like I wasn't raised by a black woman.
Yeah.
So I think that actually has to do with that. It's very interesting.
That's
where I'm
really
not
interesting.
afraid to be a Karen because my mom's not a Karen. But like my mom will be like blah 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 to the person, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so I've never been like, but I'm aware of how I'm perceived different than my white friends, you know.
Interesting.
But I don't really
Have to go
Navigate
through
shift
that way,
it.
yeah.
Wait, now I'm interested. Do you feel like you ever have to code switch?
That's a good point. Kind of a little bit. It's the code switching, I think, for Asian people is very family oriented, at least for me. Like it's not so much to do with a mannerism or a level of comfort. It's more just like, I guess, formality a little bit of like when you go home, you know, you say thank you for everything and certain habits come back in and, you know, saying thank you before you eat. So it's not code switching in the sense that like I'm changing myself to appeal to the people I'm with. It's just, you know, you're different when you're with your family than when you're out in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's like traditions you're more aware of versus when you're just around.
Now it's something I want to look as a mixed person if I ever do that.
yeah, it's
What are you
interesting. But I
I'm
realize
Puerto Rican and Korean.
Wow.
right?
I wouldn't
It's
have
a
guessed that.
cool
Nobody
mix.
ever. Nobody ever would.
It's a cool
I would
mix.
not have guessed
I've
that.
never heard of that. I've never seen that mix in
nobody
my
ever
life.
would have guessed that.
Y'all are both Korean?
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
That was
But it's weird because I asked him, I'm like, oh, did you celebrate Chuseok, which is like a really big Korean holiday last week? He was like, no, and I'm like, oh, I did. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, but yeah, no, I've never thought of
Yeah,
that.
but you have a lot to make up for the other half, so maybe.
Yeah, I'm like really honing it in.
Yeah.
the prompt is we don't live for ourselves anymore, we live for the algorithm. So that kind of ties into the last conversation a bit with being authentic and teetering the line of performative. How do we feel about the algorithm being a part of today's society?
I'm sure most people have heard this, but like the way it judges what you're interested in, it's not based on engagement. It's not based on like you commenting or liking. It's just quite literally
What
how
you
long
like.
you stay there for.
Oh.
And I think personally that does really mess up things to your brain, because instead of looking at things that you want to look at, obviously that's a case where like a good person can find what works for them and what they like. But I think for a lot of people with a little less self-control, it just tunnels you into sort of your basest desires of whatever just catches your eyes for long enough. Like I'd say for guys, at least 50% of their Instagram algorithm is just going to be hot girls. For straight guys, let's say. And that's not because a guy is like particularly creepy or pervy, but it's just because it's like a natural reaction. You look at something, you see, you stay for a few seconds because you're interested.
And now
And that
that's
just
being
keeps feeding.
shown.
So I think it just constantly feeds not necessarily your worst impulses, but your most basic impulses.
And we are like sure, like it's fact that that's how the algorithm
That's how
is based.
TikTok works, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You work at TikTok?
No, I'm just
We need the
was
receipts
wondering.
of
I
how
just
you
I
want to.
read about
wanna
this.
fact
Yeah,
check?
yeah,
I mean,
please.
a lot of
If someone
I mean,
knows I'm wrong.
that makes so much. Yeah, it makes sense.
A lot of it is like anecdotal evidence, but there are enough like
the studies haven't been done like long term enough. They haven't followed like people from, which now it's impossible to follow people before or after, but they haven't followed people like long enough because the algorithm is like, it's still growing, it's still in its
Yeah, they're
early
changing it
stages,
constantly.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's enough information definitely out there to know that like we're being put in our, you know, own bubbles, and then
Yes.
you
Echo
can
chambers.
I don't know, I can see how like it changes how people interact in real life. We're a lot more cautious with each other now, and like are like in real time, like thinking about what we're going to say and looking at the
Interesting.
person's, like maybe you aren't doing that, but
No, maybe I am, and
Yeah.
I'm not conscious of that.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you're like almost like gauging when you first like meet someone, trying to figure out how safe the space is for you to be a certain version of yourself. Like we're kind of being programmed to do it now.
So
And
interesting.
even more, my current place where I work, where you used to work, we have a diverse department age-wise, right? So I know what it's like to interact with someone who isn't online at all. They interact. They're a lot more open with their thoughts. They're a lot more like they will change their mind mid-conversation, right? Because there are no, and I mean, I'm lucky enough to work with other people who aren't bigoted or have, as far as I can tell, any kind of like, you know, weird, extremely, what's the word? Conservative beliefs. Yes, thank you. Sorry, but yeah. So it's made us like a lot more conscious, and even when you look at like young, I mean, most people that know me like personally know that like I love a younger generation. I do not find them, well, they can be annoying, but I do not find them to be like inherently annoying. But the caution with which they move through the world,
Really?
the way they do, and they judge themselves. They're very like self-conscious because they want to make sure they're not presenting in a certain way.
Yeah.
It's because of how they
see
are
that.
online, like the way we interact, the way like people.
Perfectionism.
We're more, I feel like we're more self-centered now.
Yes,
And we're
for sure.
a lot more aware of ourselves.
Yeah,
because
and
we're always
It's like
on
a
our
reality
phones,
TV
yeah,
show
on our phones,
24/7.
yeah. And you hear from people who like, I at least like, I wasn't a huge clubber, but I know what like physical spaces where like used to be like before the phones were. So now you hear from people who go clubbing who say like they can't even dance. People aren't dancing in the clubs anymore, which is not like a personal thing that I have experienced, but I've been in places where like there used to be more fluidity in how like
Yeah.
humans would interact. We don't do that anymore.
People don't shake
I
hands.
It's
see.
absolutely because of the like
see.
algorithm,
Yeah.
and it's like a double-edged sword. It's not like, it's not all bad. I don't think anything. It's like
Black and white.
Yeah.
exactly that black and white,
Nuance.
but it's definitely more black than, well, if you're assuming black is bad and white is good, it's more, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I loved
see
what
it.
you said, Joa, about the algorithm kind of feeding into like our selfish desires. Was that what you said?
Our base desires.
Our base
yeah.
desires. Would you agree, Michael? Disagree? Yeah.
I would agree.
As a man?
You know, I'm not really on social media as much as I used to be when I was younger.
Why aren't you on social media as much anymore?
Too many girls.
No.
I do love girls too, actually.
You have a lot of girls too? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just didn't like it for a while. I just like, there was a point like after like the pandemic, like in 2021, I was kind of just like, not really, I wouldn't say bothered by it, but it just didn't do much for me. Like I would post something and I would see like maybe 4,000 people saw it, but only 87 of them actually liked it. And I was just like, okay, so why am I doing this? And then there was also like, for my friends that like I would post, but like for me, it's just like, I don't really need to post if I could just go see my friends, you know?
Do you feel like it affected your mental health in any way?
I wouldn't say it affected my mental health in like a crazy way, but I just wasn't entertained by social media, and I didn't feel the need to like keep giving to something that wasn't really doing anything for me. If that makes sense.
As you just said, you feel like you'd post, but you wouldn't necessarily have the connection or the interaction that you were kind of expecting with social media. So before the internet, connection meant effort. You'd call people, you'd write letters, you'd show up. Now I can check in on people I haven't spoken to in years just by watching their stories. I know what they ate, what they wore, who they're dating, but I haven't actually spoken to them in months. It feels like I'm close to everyone and no one at the same time.
Wow.
Would you agree? And did the internet make us more connected or just more aware of how disconnected we are?
I would say that Sorry.
That's a good question.
I would say that like I do like the internet for that aspect of like, oh, my friends that live in China that I haven't seen since 2017, I could just hit them up and be like, hey, how you doing? Like, what's going on? And like see like, oh, you went to this place and you've been doing that, or you got like a new job, or you're having a baby or something like that. And it's just like, all right, that's really nice. But that's because I know I'm not gonna be able to go and see that person anytime soon. You know? I would say for like people that I run into, I'm not really gonna like watch your stories because like I either hung out with you the other day or like so like I'm not really interested in seeing what you're doing all the time because like I know like if I call you I can see you within the hour or so. You know what I mean? I would say that it's nice for keeping in check with friends and family that are like in different countries and like long distance. But for the day to day, like it's chill.
Chizzy.
Oh man, I have a lot to say about this. I actually had to like sit my friends down and tell them that them seeing what I'm like posting or up to online should not be the barometer in which they check in with me or to know that I'm like okay or not. Because for me, social media is my job. So whether I'm going through a depressive episode or, something else is going on in my personal life, I still have to show up just like we all have to show up to our jobs every day. So I personally and I found like in my personal life, when I would talk to people, they'd be like, oh, you seem to be doing great. Like, you just traveled here. And it's like, baby, I was clocking in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then when I tell them like, what's actually going on, they're like, really? It didn't look like that. I'm like, it's not supposed to. Like, I'm not about to sit here and say my whole life. So that is the problem with the parasocial relationships sometimes online. And I just think it's really important with us like being in a society where the internet is a thing now and the algorithm is a part of our lives. Like, we have to be a lot more intentional and conscious not to just like assume people are okay just because they're posting.
So would you say
Wow.
that we're using, as a society, that we're using technology to understand people better or to avoid them?
I think we are using it to understand people better, but I think we are not. I think we've taken it too far where we only rely on technology to understand someone. And it's like, there's certain things you're not going to get until you're in person with them and you have conversations that are private. You know what I mean? So I think we rely too much on technology to understand people. Yeah.
Even then, like in person, it's effort because the way we interact with each other is there's a quickness or an expectation of like instant response. In person, you have to be comfortable like probing someone, like not like you're like trying to make them uncomfortable, but if the person is your friend, like you have to like sometimes let things unfold and there's it takes time for that to happen. Of course, it also depends on the length of the depth of the relationship, how long you've known the person, but I don't know. There's effort involved. I have a romantic idea when it comes to like life. I have a friend who is in France, and we talk like twice a year. But she's the only person that I still write letters to, like handwritten letters.
I still write letters. I still buy birthday cards.
Exactly.
And
For
mail
birthday,
them.
we always do birthday cards.
That's
still do
beautiful.
that.
Cute.
A letter is crazy.
It really is.
I think
it takes a while.
Art.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a lost art.
I literally have
It's so
a
beautiful,
box with like all my stationery with a bunch of seals, seals to send them.
Yeah.
I have cards that I buy like randomly. I'm like, oh, this, like my best friend's birthday is coming soon and he loves ramen. And I literally saw our ramen birthday card 2 months ago and I'm like, yep, this is it. And I saved it there.
Yeah.
I still have to write it, so I need to work on that, sending things on time. But I think it's that, like you mentioned, extra effort and being intentional with, oh, I'm not just texting you real quick or whatnot. Like, I'm sitting down, writing something for you and putting, effort, I guess. I can't think of
I would say a
another.
late birthday card's much better than
For sure.
a day of text.
Yeah, and I do both, right, for certain people, but I love a handwritten note or a letter,
it's
and
so
I keep
cute.
every single one. And it's like, Ego mentioned, it also depends on the relationship. Even recently, I had a cousin who she was like traveling all over and like brand trips for work, and personal. And then I caught up with her in a 2-hour phone call, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this was all going on behind the scenes. And it's just that reminder that you don't really know, and you do need to have like those check-ins. And social media, I have family all over, so it's great to kind of see how they're doing, but not depending on taking that at like face value.
Yeah, I think that like if you're only looking at someone's posts like on Instagram or whatever, it's the same level of connection as like looking at a celebrity's post. Like yeah, you know what's going on in their life vaguely.
Yeah.
But it gives you no sense of like how they feel about it,
context.
why they went, why they're, it's no like you said, no context. It's just, oh, they look happy.
Highlights.
Yeah.
I don't know what
It's
Ryan
literally
Gosling is doing.
highlight.
With us talking about the algorithm and how it ties to human connections in real life and online, we're going to transition into AI.
Ooh.
As we know, AI is becoming a part of the same system of connection on the internet. We ask it for advice. We talk to it when we're lonely. We use it to create things we can't make ourselves. How do you feel about AI being a part of our future, Charlotte?
Oh, thank you. Since it's inevitable, it really is that we're going to have AI. I think the solution is regulation rather than deny that it's not going to exist, because it really is. But I hear about the environmental issues, and all of the social medias also have a problem with that. Like the amount of time you use TikTok, Instagram, Netflix, it actually affects the environment as well. But so many other things that we do, flying, all of this stuff. So I think the solution would be regulation. I personally do like chat. Don't cancel me. I like a good...
You're on a first name basis with it. So.
Chat. Call it chat, bro.
Mr. GPT.
I'm like, just ask chat. Just ask chat. I do like it. For social media and adding to my ideas, adding on to that, helping me with my, it just helps me be faster and more productive in things that I need to do, because I've got a lot to do. So I'm not opposed to it, but it can also be crazy, because I heard about that person who killed himself.
Yeah.
Oh, trigger warning, sorry.
Yeah.
But like he like asked ChatGPT like, what should I do? Should I do it? How to do it? Like, and then Chat kind of guided him to do that.
What?
And it went viral.
Yeah, where he was like,
2
should I
weeks
leave
ago.
the news?
Yeah.
And they're like, no. Chad was like, no, hide it.
Yeah, and it like kind of helped him do it. It kind of was trying to help him be like, call this number, for help, but it didn't. But it's like, AI
But
is
what's
not
the
a
difference
person.
between that and just like Googling it at the same time?
Have you tried
Context.
Googling how to...
No.
The amount of things that pop up. First of all, it's numbers of like who to call. Those are the first things.
But I think
like
Chat did that too for him. Like, call this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's the internet.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I also don't want to go into like we call it AI, but it's not like AI. It's like a huge functioning database.
It is.
That's why it's like recycling. But like
I do think it should be regulated, and I feel like people should not depend on it as
Especially
much.
active
Like you hear the stories of like, I use ChatGPT to write my grocery list. Like you cannot write your own grocery list.
Right.
My best friend who came to visit me in August, he wanted to find things to do in Brooklyn. I'm not familiar with the area.
Yeah.
I Googled it. I'm like, what are things? And I asked people. He's like, I asked, why are you asking ChatGPT what to do in
Faster.
Brooklyn?
Yeah.
No, because then you can look up things that are more tailored to you. Like, I'm more against it than pro it. I agree that it is going to be a part of our lives. Again, heavy on it needs to be regulated. I know that it is 10 times worse, I think that statistic is, than Googling something, right, for the environment. I also wish that it wasn't forced. Like, in my previous job, they try to force it. Like, I'm an editor. Don't tell me to use, AI. I can do a better job, at least for that specific program. And the fact that it's so much more involved in our lives, like you said, every social media has it now. I really wish I could turn it off, because sometimes it's less helpful.
And you're not using your brain.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's just like what I think. I do think it can be helpful.
Yeah.
Like my dentist apparently uses a new system to evaluate me. That's great, but I don't
Yeah.
need it to make a list.
And we are talking about like human connection, and a huge back like, to what you were saying about like how it helps makes things faster and helps you to be more productive. I think part of our issue is that we're trying to like the
We do.
issue is that we're not slowing things down. When you sit down and put pen to paper and write an actual letter to someone, you will know how you feel about the person in real time. There's something about like
Yeah.
wanting to speed things up, which is it's such like a romantic notion, because like it's very difficult to practice in day-to-day life. I know, because you have things to do, like, and people are working, so it is unfortunately helping like otherwise we won't be having this issue. Like, it's actually helping people get things done.
Yeah.
Right? But it's more like the problem it's solving is the issue.
Well, I think
And-
that's the thing about
Yeah.
being
You're
in
so
a
right.
capitalistic society.
Yes.
You're so right.
I was trying to like find ways to like circle that without using the C word, because I hate it so much. But it's
You're so right.
yeah. Because I'm like, why are you trying to speed that you
Like
can't speed up like human connection. And like you said, you want to find out what to do in Brooklyn. It takes a couple of minutes to find like which particular thing. Like, you're trying to save time, which is true, but like we're all trying to save time. And wanting to hang out with people. Sorry, I feel like I'm going back to the other conversation now, the last question. But like wanting to, we've talked about wanting to hang out with a friend who is within living distance, like right, like you talk about. But it now it almost always has to be planned. Like, I have to like like we have to coordinate with each other, which is
Book it a month in advance.
the bane of my existence, because I'm like, no, I'm going. Do you want to go grocery shopping with me?
Yes.
Like,
Aw.
do you understand? Because like you won't get to know
That's
a person at brunch. Like, you get to know some of the person, but like living like day to day, like that's kind of how, But now you can't. I mean, I don't want anyone to come and knock at my door without inviting me. But we used to,
You used to just show up at people's
and just show up.
houses.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you've
I
told
used
me
to
to
do
do
that a
that, and
lot.
I'm like,
Yes.
what if you're not there? Like,
Yeah. And
you
there's
know?
some friends who
That's
like
so
I still that I would go and visit.
Yeah.
Without
I feel like, a call or a
notice.
text. That's something I've started doing too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if I want to go for a walk or something.
Are
I'll
you
just,
home?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going for a walk.
If you're in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Hello?
But you know what's interesting is that I've met lately a few like newer, they're acquaintances for now with the potential of being friends, right? We get along. But I'm like, hey, like, you can text me. Like, it's okay. Like, I have to reiterate, like, you have permission to text me.
Here's my phone
Like,
number,
this is
not
my phone
DMs.
number. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I have a lot of free time. Like, please feel free to text me.
Yeah.
Like, I just had someone that I recently met. She's like, oh, yeah, I was going through a hard time. But I know we all are, so I didn't want to bother you. And I'm like, basically, we're not going to form a deep friendship if you don't reach out. And I know it's daunting at first,
Yeah.
right? Because you have to test it out. Like, how much can I trust this person? But if you just don't say anything, disappear for like 2-3 weeks, and then come back saying you had a hard time, like, I'm not gonna say something that I don't mean personally. So if I tell you like, hey, I'm trying to be your friend.
Yeah.
So if you need someone, even if it's just a quick phone call, like this person does live within walking distance of me too.
Wow.
So I'm like, and you're alone, you don't have family here. It's okay. But I find myself that I have to continuously say, text me. You can, like however you feel comfortable sharing, you can share with me.
Yeah.
More so than before.
Yeah. We're very measured with each other now.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to be very considerate of the person's time, which I guess like
I
some
mean, it's
people
okay
aren't
to be
considerate, but it's
yeah, but also like to what degree?
Yeah.
What do you think the result of that is? Like, why do you think we're so measured with people?
It's part of it is how we interact with each other on the internet, or even when it hasn't happened to us. There's so much discourse around how like we've heard other people interact, where we just assume or like want to be careful to not like pre-annoy someone or inconvenience someone. And I've talked about, I've been like, you have to inconvenience your friends a little. I don't know what, like, it's not always going to be like comfortable for you to, show up. Plus, if you really want to like know the people who are
You'll make time.
going to be in, well, yeah, you make time, but like you want to know like if someone's actually going to be with you in your life, you have to test it once.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if the person responds in a way that you're not like, no harm, no foul, it's easier said than done, but at least now you know that like you definitely can't show up as that version of yourself with that person, and then you know whether the person is your, like friend or not. But like we can all would all be walking on eggshells around each other, and then being like, I have no close relationships in my life. It's very
and someone has to make that initial
bravery.
step.
Yes.
Like,
My Angelou
bravery.
did say, I'm quoting, she like love is not. Someone asked her once like if love is like the most important thing, and she was like, she doesn't think it's love, she thinks it's courage. Courage is the most important thing, because you need courage to practice everything else. You can love someone like in the deepest part of your heart, but at some point like you have to be courageous enough to practice love, kindness.
So within this conversation of talking about AI and human connection and whether or not we feel like it brings people closer to each other or further apart, how do you guys feel about ChatGPT and it being used for therapy and kind of just understanding human connection in real life more? I'm going to start with Joa.
Sure. Well, I've done therapy before. I'm not currently in therapy, and I feel like, oh, thanks for not being in therapy right now. The whole point of therapy, I think, is to have someone that you can connect to who is an unbiased third party to your life and your thoughts, right? And if you're doing that to an AI, one, it is biased because it's run by a company that's trying to make money. Not that therapy is not also trying to make money, but its whole purpose is to provide you information that'll make you want to subscribe or pay or whatever. But it's like, it's not, it has no specific purpose that is to help you. Like a therapist goes to school because it's a person who decided, I want to spend my life helping people through their issues. I want to have the knowledge to help people. Whereas an AI is just an all-encompassing, like, I just have all the knowledge and I'm using it however you tell me to. So it's just not, I don't think, maybe for someone who's like really scared of therapy and just needs some exposure to it, it might be useful. But I think the core of therapy is having someone to connect with who can understand you on a human level. And if you're looking for that out of a robot, then you maybe have some deeper issues and you should go to real therapy.
Yes. Michael?
That was a great question.
I agree. Yeah, what Joe said is like therapists are there to like help you like open up your toolbox to like challenge your issues or like problems and stuff and kind of like overcome those things. And I just don't think that you can receive that from an AI like model.
I think also what you said about toolbox, the thing is like, they're trying to, like, therapy is trying to give you the tools without telling you what to do.
Exactly.
Right? It's trying to like teach you, it's trying to help you find your own way. If there's no one on the other side of that, then you're not like, it's just telling you like, all right, here are the things you should do.
It's like,
It's prescriptive rather than like a conversation. It's just, all right, here are your issues, here are some potential solutions, rather than, all right, here are your issues. Where did these issues come from? Where do you maybe think these started? Like, it needs
it doesn't push on the blind spots that you would have
Exactly.
because there's nobody else on the other side to do that.
And like another thing with these like AI like chat systems and like AI models is that they don't have any originality, if that makes sense to you guys. Like you have to tell it something for it to then give you something.
Like a prompt.
Yeah, you have to prompt it to receive information. It's not like it can't actually just like look at you and be like, wow, like, hey, I can see that you're going through something. And I'm sure that they're working on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still gonna lack the essence of humanity that like people have. Like, like I can look at one of you guys and like read the emotions that are going on in your face and recognize that. I don't think the AI models can recognize that.
yet.
They can acknowledge it, but they won't recognize. They won't understand what it feels to feel that way. So I think that I don't believe it would be useful for therapy.
Also, it could very easily lead you down like say you're depressed because that's what you think you are. Turns out maybe you're actually anxious instead. But you've already told the AI that you're depressed, so it's going to tell you, all right, here's what depressed people should do. It's just a more complicated way to self-diagnose.
My gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. I think like knowledge isn't wisdom, which is how like even in real life you can meet people who are very knowledgeable and brilliant and one thing, but they have no context clues. And that's kind of how I think like being able to contextualize what like the person in front of you is saying is something that it can't do. Sure, maybe they can teach you to do that eventually, but it clearly,
won't be the same.
yeah, it won't be the same. Like a human being is a human being, no matter like how much iRobot has tried to make us seem like it's just not going to be.
Yeah. Also, I think
the same
because
thing.
of the system,
You
because
go.
of the system, it's going to try to validate whatever it is that you prompted or write in it, instead of being like, hey, maybe you're wrong, because it's trying to like fill in a gap
It's a
within
yes
you.
man.
Yes, it's a yes
It
man.
is.
So like I forgot what I saw some time ago, like in a post, some screenshots where it was like, oh, like cheating on a relationship, something like that. And it was like, well, it's okay because you've been feeling like trying to excuse it.
Yeah.
When
And sometimes it's just
I
like
haven't-
wrong.
when it's
Oh,
wrong.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's
it's
like,
literally
Yeah.
wrong.
exactly.
Yeah.
The AI was trying in different scenarios where it was clearly wrong, and I think cheating was one of them. The other one was like stealing. It's like, oh, but it's okay because of this. That's
Yeah, but even beyond like things like that, I mean, like with facts, like sometimes because I like to use
Confidently
Yes.
wrong.
yeah, like
Yes.
I like to use AI for maybe like analyzing a whole bunch of like information that I've put into a chart or something, and I'm like analyze this and do this and like it'll miss a whole part, and then I'll
Yeah.
ask it like, why did you miss this part? And it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I missed that. I'm like, what is the point of you? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the messenger who's putting in the prompt. Because for me, I like before I got insurance, I didn't really have it wasn't accessible to go to therapy. So sometimes the prompt, what I would do is say, please answer this like a therapist, in using, like you could say, including my blind spots that I would not see, and answer as the top therapist in the entire world, Miss whatever, whoever. And I think that it could be useful for someone and more accessible for someone to figure out themselves. So at the same time, I think it could be helpful in that way, but I also agree with what y'all are saying as well with the human connection.
Do you think that is more helpful than someone reading a therapy book?
I think that both can be good. Like I use chat for like boundaries. Like I'm working on boundaries, and what it told me was the same things that it was saying in the book as well. So I don't think it's better or worse. I think it actually could be learning from the books that are online.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While it's pulling from those resources and whatnot, would you say that the information is easier received because you're reading it on a screen rather than it coming from another human being? Or is it just like, because you don't have access to one and this is available, that it feels reliable?
It's also simplified, right? The way that the chat
Yeah, it's
mentions
direct
it.
and it's like straight to the
Bullet
point.
points,
What's
yeah.
what was the question?
I'm saying in terms of this, like, even if chat is pulling from the top therapist's book, it's just pulling from the book. It doesn't actually have like the awareness that I was saying, like the
No,
level of
I
knowledge.
personally prefer a human being.
Okay.
But for accessibility, I think it could be good. I prefer a person.
I think with both AI and a book, that can serve as a great like way to access it if you don't have access to it, or if it's not currently available to you. But it sounds like, the way you're describing it, it sounds like self-work, in the same way that like reading a therapy book on your own is self-work, and you're interpreting what you think. But I think the whole purpose of having a therapist is to take it from that self, internal view of yourself, to have that other person there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think even with AI,
Agreed.
even though it feels like you're talking to another person, it's you interpreting the prompt and you interpreting the response. So it feels like it's a lot more internal. And I think the real purpose of therapy is to just take those thoughts outside of your mind and bring them into the external.
With everything that we've discussed today with the internet and the cost of being online, and now the components of AI, where do we go from here? Ego, would you like to start?
Sure. I have a more optimistic view, or I like to. It's hard for me. So I'm more worried about like the younger generation who have no frame of reference for what life was like before it. So that's, it's a whole like unexplored thing in my brain. I think we're going to have to give them a couple of years to see like what we're really working with. For the rest of us, I think it's not all bad, because the one positive thing that has come out of it is, because we are human, we have a tendency to catch ourselves midway and like overcorrect, and then maybe like find like, a balance. So the conversation that we're having right now, I think, is a positive reflection of like where we're heading, because we're all collectively seeing how bad things, and humans have a way of catching things, at some point. There are some people who have no self-correction. They're not like intuitively like, they don't check themselves or whatever, but collectively we do a good job of like navigating things. So I don't think it's usually discussed in a very like doomsday, like we're never going to recover from this. I think it is a natural evolution of how we have been as humans. The problems have gotten worse over time, but I don't think they've gotten worse. I think we're just so like connected to each other across the globe now. So it feels like every bad thing that is happening, including AI, is happening on a larger scale. Same thing with like war, but like wars have always, we're just, like seeing it in
now.
real time now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's more because that's why I say that, like, to make the point of like, that's why things feel so much worse, because we're taking in so much of it, like at the same time, more than like other generations who had to wait months, sometimes decades, for information about what's happening, in certain places to reach them. So I don't think it is, I may be wrong, but I don't think it is as bad as it is. Eventually we'll find ways to like regulate, and things are going to get worse in some ways, but it won't be all the way worse. So we do have places to go. It's not like we're just like, headed towards the total destruction of human connection. We've always found ways to evolve. I don't think that's going to end with us. We're not like that special of a generation. Like we're going to be the ones like ruining everything. I think there are.
I think we just have to be more intentional. Knowing that, like, okay, the internet has played such a role and impact how we connect as human beings, right? And then also that aspect of the future generations coming up and how they won't have a frame of reference. And now, again, adding AI, it's like, I think we do have to be more intentional. And like you said, like having these conversations, that is an example of us, like, even just like being reflective as a people and being like, okay, this is what's going on. How do we fix it? And yeah, I think it's honestly about like on an individual level, being more intentional about the people that are actually in your real life, right? From your friends to the elders in your life to the younger ones that you have to look back to. I think we need to really focus on pouring into people in real life.
Yes.
Yeah, like the things that when someone's on your heart, like call them, like reach out to them. Even like the ideas of you guys writing letters, like I love that. And I think as humans, it is so important to like act on the things that you feel, the ideas that you get. That's what makes us so special and makes us human and not AI. Like we get ideas. We don't need a prompt. Or maybe we do have a prompt. Maybe it's God.
Yeah, we're a vessel.
But it's like, yeah, like there are things within us that make us evolve and make us like change course. And I think this is a really important moment and just reminder for each and every one of us, like in our own lives, like just be intentional with the people in your real life and also with yourself. Yeah.
I agree with you that it has to be on an individual level. I think it also has to be on a cultural level. I think we have to start understanding the internet and social media as something with the same level of danger as like alcohol or drugs.
Yes.
Because I think the problem is, obviously you mentioned regulation before. Obviously regulation would be great, and Charlotte as well. Regulation would be great. Realistically, I don't think it's ever going to be fast enough. The internet and technology moves way too fast for any bureaucracy to be able to
Catch up,
catch up. So I think it needs to come from a cultural understanding that these things are made to be addicting. They're made by companies who are like explicitly trying to have as much of your attention and time as possible. And so I think once we can, as a culture, understand that it's like a truly dangerous thing, and it can have like severe impacts on your mental health and even your physical health. I think once we can start to understand that culturally, we can then, like, you don't get rid of alcohol, you don't get rid of drugs, but you find a way to fit it into the world in a more appropriate, restrained way.
We're not done here. The conversation continues. On the next episode, we'll be discussing modern love. Stay tuned.
African men, now go easy on me now. So I'm Nigerian, I'm of Nigerian descent. And I find that sometimes when they hit like a certain age range, maybe like 35, like all of a sudden, maybe all of their friends are getting married. So now they're looking to get married. And it's like, whoever fits the bill of like what they're looking for at that moment, that's who they're gonna choose.
Someone isn't trying to provide for themselves and do more. I think that's a bigger problem than the actual finances.
I think most marriages would fare better if the couple, after 10 years, if they issue a 10-year marriage license, and after 10 years, you have to sit with the person and decide whether or not you want to go into the next 10 years.
No, I mean, marriage is definitely a lesser commitment because you could always just get divorced. Children are forever.